This is the final exercise of the day, but before we go, I'm going to talk to you about the third assignment, okay, where we will ask you to form groups of 4. So we will email you these details. So as Anna told you, the last course session will be a long way from now, so probably October or November. You'll have plenty of time to do this, but the goal is that you put yourself in the shoes of a data steward, and you focus on one of the stages of the data lifecycle. So either planning or collecting or processing or analyzing or preserving or sharing, and come up with a plan for the institution of one of the members of the group or more than one. Okay, so considering the types of data generated in your institute, the number of elements in your institute. So think about the tools and resources that would be needed, the IT infrastructure needed to support that, eventually the policies needed to support it, and draft a small document, maybe 1 page long, detailing this information. Okay, as I said, so this we will email you a more detailed version of this. So I would ask you whether you prefer that we form the groups for you or you organize yourselves into groups.
Maybe form the groups, it would be easier if you form them.
Okay. I would think so, but just wanted to make sure.
Daniel, I just would like to remind you that there was a frame prepared to support this assignment that perhaps you would like to present.
The RDM kit, I mean.
Not sure, perhaps George can help you because he was the one preparing that. And I don't know if you have finalized it, but the idea was that this is not an open exercise, but that in the end
yes.
you have a coherent
yes.
result.
Yes.
I can share the link if you want.
Yes. I forgot where the document was, but
I've put it in the chat.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Yes, so yes, we want you to do to go over a checklist of, so we probably will complete this a bit for some of the stages, but essentially these types of questions that you need to think about and answer.
I don't know if you are intending to show, but we are not seeing if you are.
You're not seeing my...
We are seeing your Google Drive list.
Really?
Maybe you have it in another window.
Yeah, it opened another browser, never mind.
It happens.
Okay.
About the phase of the cycle that each one of the groups will need to develop, you will let us know which one, or we should choose.
Would you prefer that we assign a stage to each group? That's probably easiest.
No, my question is, if we have different ones, probably we will have an overview of all the process, all the life cycle.
The goal would be for each group to have a different stage. So we will assign you to groups and assign you a stage as well.
Yeah, also because, as you were saying, and the idea is that when we resume in November, that a part of this course will be the presentation and discussion of your assignment in the perspective of each step that was attributed.
Yes, so the goal is precisely that. So I think we've gotten to a point where we have a good global overview of data stewardship. Now we're going a bit more in depth at the requirements in each stage of the data lifecycle. So what are the concerns? What are the problems? What needs to be addressed? So going a bit more in depth into the actual details of data stewardship.
Yeah, to consolidate your ability and you feel more secure in applying the acquired knowledge.
Okay, so we will try to email you this, I think, by the end of the week, the template and the groups. Okay. You have any questions about the topics from today?
Sorry. I just had a very quick question about one of the things you mentioned right before lunch.
Yes.
When you were talking about issues with copy pasting for when different ontologies could have multiple hits with the same URI, right?
Yeah.
And you said that when that happened, it would not be possible to figure out which one was the original one or something.
It's certainly hard even for an expert. So I've tried it. I know I've worked with biomedical ontologies for more than a decade now, and I know a lot of them. And even when I use a lookup service and I get the same URI from 10 different ontologies, I struggle sometimes to figure out which one was the original ontology.
Yeah, I was wondering because if it's not something that can be, maybe it's a limitation of the tool, I guess, that you can just either sort by number of times that one of them was, let's say, used or oldest or something, or that none of that information is contemplated.
I mean, it probably is available in the system, but it's not usually available for the lookup criteria.
That's what I was wondering. Okay. Yeah.
So
Thank
you generally have to make sure that the namespace of the ontology, so the actual codes that they use for that ontology match the code of the concept that you found. Because in ontologies that just copy paste it, there will be a mismatch. So the other concepts in the ontology will have a different type of code with a different namespace. But that is not always trivial, because sometimes ontologies have so many different namespaces because of this reuse of terms that figuring out what's their main namespace can be challenging. But so that is really, I think, a problem of the perception that researchers have of ontologies. So the tendency for biomedical ontologists is to think about concepts as if they exist in a void. So you can just copy and paste the same concept independent of the context of the document in which it is placed. And that is not really the original intent of ontologies. So as I said, they are knowledge models that are about a particular domain for a particular application. Okay, to give you a simple example, an ontology about wines for users would have very different features about wines than an ontology about wines for commercials, for merchants. Okay, for a supermarket chain, for example. For example, even the level of granularity for a supermarket chain, your ontology would go down to the level of individual bottles, because that's what they want to keep in stock and that's what they want to sell. Whereas for a user, you just care about the brands and the years, because that's what you want to rate and figure out if that's a good wine or not. Okay. And there can be ontologies about the same thing, the same exact object, but for different purposes. And that means potentially different features, different properties, etc. But for some reason, the biomedical community, when they develop ontologies, they have a very fixed view of the world and kind of assume that has to go for everything.
Okay, thank you. Also, sorry for not raising my hand. I wasn't sure where it was. Sorry.
No worries. Francisco,
Okay, so my question was regarding the mind map, which is pretty awesome. I think what you've done here today. But my question is whether you're still going to make it pretty and formal before you email it to us, or should we just export it as it is currently?
you can export it as it is if you want, but I will try to do something with it before the last course.
Okay, thanks.
And
just
so
what I
maybe
wanted.
at the start of the next course, we'll have a more formal representation of this mind map.
Okay, thanks, Daniel.
Daniel,
Yes,
if you use colors, please keep in mind that some people are colorblind.
I know I'm one of them.
Ah, good. I never noticed, you never complained.
I am slightly colorblind. I have a deficiency, so I actually have a fused red gene, which is half red, half green, which means I see less red than most people.
Okay.
Ana Francisco, you have your hand raised.
Yes. Just for remember and kindly ask you to take a group photo of this session.
Of course. So let me stop sharing.
You can lower your hand Anna, for the picture.
Mhm. Okay.
And there are two Ricardos who could switch on the camera if they are around.
Sorry, my camera is not working.
Ah, yours does not work yet.
Okay. I think it's done. Thank you.
I kindly remind you to fill the questionnaire for this session. It's in the chat, the link. It's very important.
George, you need to get a network cable.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You need a cable. Your Wi-Fi is not stable enough.
But did you hear me or not really?
Yes, so but I'll repeat. So George is asking you to please fill in the feedback form that he pasted in the chat. We would greatly appreciate it. And so that's all from our part. Hope you enjoyed the day, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you in October
See you.
or November.
Bye.